Hey everyone, welcome to another quick video tutorial, or mainly a walkthrough of a couple of templates that I've recently added to the site. Now, I did an article in Testing Circus for August, and in there I talk about breaking down different types of security testing. But at the start of the article, I say, hey, before you test, you absolutely must get some information and get some sign-off about and for the security testing that you're doing. And in fact, this would apply to performance testing too. Every time you access a system, you need authorization, period. So in the UK, it's the Computer Misuse Act, and it basically says if you are using a computing system that the owners have not given you permission to use, then you're breaking the law. And then if you go further and use that in a malicious way or to do malicious things, again, you're breaking the law even more. And so as a professional, you need to understand these legalities, the controls that are in place, and how you safeguard yourself against misinterpretation of your actions, right? So one of those documents is an authorization to test, and in knowing what you're authorized to test, you need a good record of the system and the access details that you've been provided. So the two templates I've put up on the website, and if you go to cyreath.co.uk/template page, templates, maybe that wasn't very good, you go to the bottom and you will see in the other templates section, I've reorganized this, by the way. If this is looking slightly changed, I've shuffled these around into some different groups now that I've started to put more templates up there. Go all the way to the bottom for these two and you'll have a system access details and authorization to test templates as a .doc file, so it's a Word document file. Go ahead, click the links and you'll be taken to the individual page where you can download the template. I've done this so that you can get some details about it and each template, and also any related items that you might want to pick up. Okay, so you can click the link or click the image, that's fine. So we'll grab the system access details, and if we hit the authorization to test, then let's grab a copy of that too. Okay, so what we'll do first of all is have a look at the system access details, and likewise for security and performance, this document can be of use. System access and credentials document. Now, I've put a little warning at the top here to say, hey, you know what, we're writing out system details and putting passwords in, and you might well want to password protect this file then. If you have another way to transmit these details, maybe it's on a secure SharePoint or intranet site, etc., that would probably be better, but as that wouldn't make a very good template, this is what I've done. Okay. As always, wherever you see something in angle brackets, then go fill that in with the correct details. Now, what we've got on here is a collection of the most typical environments and systems that you will need to access. And so, the customer will need to come along and give you the Samba account, Samba password details, etc. And detail those out, right? And whether what kind of password or hash is it, and so on. SSH settings, again, fairly straightforward, giving you the SSH username and the keys and so on. Right, scrolling down, okay, escalation password for privileges, that's fine. Database settings, clearly you're going to want to access a database, and here are the details. If there is some other information that you need to put in, well, just add a row, that's absolutely fine. Oracle settings down here, so we've got Kerberos, and then other system details. So you get the idea of what we're trying to get in here. We're trying to say it is specifically this environment, with precisely this username, precisely this password. You will need to go in, on this port, etc. Right? Whatever the information is to say, I mean that system, no other. That system using these credentials for that user in this way. And other system details down here is a bit lack. I would, specify them out in some way. If there was, I don't know, Summit access or something, you would put down here Summit system details. Here are the exact system details for accessing Summit if that was the case, or it could be, accessing a backend CMS, for example. And what you're saying in this document is, these are all of the systems onto which I will give you access, direct access, in order to either monitor or individually attack systems as part of your security, or systems that you will want to monitor as part of your performance testing. It's good to get on the web server, it's good to get on the database, put some monitoring tools on there, crank up the performance tools, viewing it perhaps from the front end, but observing what's happening in the back end. So this is good for both security and performance testing. Okay, you can see here there's a reference, right? So always put some kind of reference, because you might end up with who knows how many of these documents, and put some individual reference. So when someone says, do you have the system access and credentials details for, you can go, aha, here it is, for exactly what? The job number, the client number, 001, whatever it is, so you know exactly what. And by the way, if you do click the headers and footers, you can strip all these out and just put your company logos and things, right? Straightforward, there's nothing, nothing you can't edit on these documents, it's just a document. So that is the system access and credentials document. Do not test these systems unless you have a explicit record of exactly what systems you're allowed access to. How many times do we test and we go, what was the password, what was the system, what was the port? Get it written down. Don't mess about, you're a professional. Okay, that's interesting. Did that not load? Right. The next one then is authorization to test. Now, he's doing it again. Hang on. Let's just make sure that goes. Okay, cool. Authorization to test is written a little bit more formally, because we're presenting this to the client. So when we do that, we always have a cover sheet, prepared for a certain client name or a company name on a given date, etc. As before, just edit these out to your own company logos. These are just to show you where they go. All right, very clear front page, no ambiguity, and an explanation of what is this about. It's about the fact that we need to protect ourselves from misinterpretation of our activities, given, in this case, the UK legislation of the Computer Misuse Act of 1990. And you'll need to find the relevant acts, and if you contact a security testing professional in your country, or your legal team, who probably won't know, maybe they will, go get that in here. Make sure you've read it through, just have a scan through yourself as well. Okay. Same thing, wherever you see angle brackets, go change your name. You could probably just do a search and replace on this actually, but read the document every time. Don't risk that thing with templates where you change a few bits and you leave project and customer names in there. But you won't do that because you are a consummate professional, I'm sure. Now, what I've done here is to word a very explicit statement, and let's just read through this, because again, this is ultra critical. We're saying that the customer who is going to sign this off in this authorization box down here, excuse me, is, we hereby give permission to you as an individual or your company name to attempt to penetrate all systems and networks within the IP address ranges and or domains listed below. Right, listed here explicitly. These systems, these IP addresses, these ranges. This is full authorization to access all systems within any networks that may be accessed via the systems below. A little bit of a caveat, right? To say, if we end up bouncing onto that CMS server, it's in that network space, directly connected to what you give us access to, so we're going onto it too. And that covers us regarding this piece of legislation, right? The fact that you might need to outsource some of this, you have a little caveat here. So we agree this authorization applies directly to you and any partners or third parties that get involved. And in the current proposal, or this could be your statement of work, right? So the statement of work will have the details, or the test plan will have the details of exactly what testing is going to take place. So make sure you get that written up. And in here, you might want to include, say, a reference back to that document. Be explicit with all of this. You may end up in court, right? So be explicit. So that at least you can say, look, I had a reasonable understanding. I had no reason to believe something that this system wasn't in scope. Right, what we've got up here is, again, a reference. Always put a reference, so it's like, I mean this job, this authorization. And, put your client name in here. Right, let's look at the clauses. So we understand that we must obtain any permission required from our suppliers in order for this work to be carried out. Right? Pursuant to granting this authorization, the client is declaring that when half of their system is sat on the Amazon cloud, they've gone to Amazon and said, hey, there's a pen test going to happen. Are you cool about that? Right? And relevant employees should also be informed. Don't panic. Between these hours on these days, there will be a hack attack. Don't worry about it. We're doing stuff. Right? Don't start calling the bloody FBI or something. We understand that your name is carrying out this testing at our request and at our risk, right? The client's risk. So, my awesome company accordingly accepts no liability for any damage inadvertently caused to the systems. If we go on your systems and pork your database, blow your network configurations out the water, that's it, right? I mean, tough. It happened. Except where we are massively negligent and are professionally incompetent. We can never divorce ourselves of that responsibility. The customer is saying we own the systems to be tested, or we have appropriate authority. It's a slight repeat up here, but this is a slightly different emphasis, right? We have created a full backup of all the systems to be tested, and we've verified the backup procedure, which too many times doesn't actually work, will actually work, right? Get ready, Mr. Customer. We may blow your database away, plus your data. We intend to. If we are going to do proper penetration testing, we're going to break in and we're going to hack stuff. Make sure you're in a good space when we do that. And, this testing needs network tools and techniques designed to detect security vulnerabilities. But we can never find them all. There's no way. We're going to find some, we're not going to find them all. On what? You tell us, Mr. Customer. And then, starting on this date and ending on this date, this is the window in which we will do the penetration. What else? Let's call it penetration testing primarily for this one. I mean, you would need this authorization for any form of security testing or performance testing, I would say. Right? You need to reword this for performance. This is about security. They print the name clearly, state their position and company, and they sign it. And then you go back to that company and make sure this person actually has the authorization to give you this permission. Double check that. If you need a letter from them or an email confirming, then get that too, right? This isn't just some test manager who goes, yeah, I'll be fine, and then InfoSec come down on them like a ton of bricks. And we say, just send it to us, right? Send it straight to us. That is the authorization to test. One of the most important documents you'll have. And what you should do is get this signed, get it PDF'd, and signed and sealed, and get it back to you. You probably want to throw in, just as a second thought, page numbers on here, and you may even reference them. So if this was page number 4, I think it is, you would say, all of the systems, here we are, on page number 4 of this document, right? And tie these things together. Okay, so that's it. Don't forget to hit the site, and on the templates area, pick up both of those documents. Alrighty, good testing. Hey, don't forget to go to Testing Circus and look at the August edition and read my article on breaking down security testing. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you soon.